Hey everyone! So, with the announcement that Kokomi will be the next character to come to Genshin, I wanted to go over some reasons why you should be summoning for her, and with that, let's move on to the video. So, firstly, Kokomi is going to be a 5-star Hydro character, mainly acting as your team's support. So, it's been a little while since we've had Hydro character, as I believe right now there are only 4 Hydro characters in the game, with 2 of them being 5 stars. So, it will be interesting to see how Kokomi will fit in. So, as I mentioned before, she's mainly going to be acting as a support, so let's have a look at her abilities. So, her skill is Kurage's Oath, not to be confused with karage, the delicious Japanese fried chicken. But so, what does this skill do? Well, it will heal your nearby allies based on Kokomi's max HP, which is the main scaling stat on most of her abilities. So if you are going to be summoning for her, then definitely start farming artifacts that have HP rolls to increase this. So as well as healing nearby allies, it will also damage nearby enemies based on Kokomi's max HP. So, sounds a bit like the new 4-star character Sayu with her Daruma thing. So, pretty cool. Now, this will stay on the field, which means you'll be able to switch to your main DPS and do your thing while you get healed. Now, her Elemental Burst has her robe, a water garment over itself that will do a variety of things, including making Kokomi deal additional damage with her attacks, as well as dealing more damage with her skill. It will also heal her allies based on the percentage of damage dealt when this burst is active. So this is really nice. And it will be interesting to see how well this scaling is at higher levels, as I could see this dealing some really good damage as well as healing, of course. Now, the only thing I could see this as a problem is that it will require you to use Kokomi for the duration of this burst, and so this could be a DPS loss depending on how well the damage is for this, as you usually want to stay on your main DPS for as long as possible, so it'll be interesting to see. But now then, let's move on. So she's going to be a Hydro character, which is a very good element as it has access to some of the most powerful reactions like Freeze or Vaporize. So she might be decent on such comps depending on how good her skill is, as it seems her burst is only really good on her. However, at the same time we do have people like Shinshu, who has sort of become the de facto Hydro applier due to how good his burst is at applying Hydro. But she could definitely become decent if you don't have him, but he will probably still remain the best applier of Hydro. So another thing that's important is that she's going to be primarily a healer or support, which, as we've already discovered, is always a good idea to summon for, as supports will always be useful for a long time to come, whereas damage healers usually sadly start to fall off as more and more characters get released. For example, characters like Zhongli are still extremely useful, offering an amazing shield paired with incredible burst damage, and is still very often run due to these reasons, whereas some of the early DPS characters have fallen off a bit. Finally, one thing I want to bring up is we actually already have a Hydro healer character in the form of Barbara. However, these two differ for a variety of reasons. Firstly, while Kokomi is seemingly able to be played in a few ways due to how her abilities scale, as well as of course her abilities that seem to do both healing and damage, whereas Barbara is mainly focused on dealing healing. So that raises the question, should you get Kokomi if you have Barbara? I'd say yes, as first and foremost she's a 5-star character, so her scaling will be better, as well as she's a bit more flexible in the team she can fit into compared to Barbara, as in the current sort of meta it is very unlikely you need a full-on healer like Barbara, but rather someone who can heal and deal damage. And so, if you are looking for a very competent Hydro 5-star that is able to deal a good amount of damage, as well as being able to make sure no one in your party dies, then look no further than Kokomi, who will be coming very soon. And if you do decide to summon for her, then I wish you all the best, and as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.